Welcome to your weekly program, Bil a show with an accent for those without one. And I eliminated a lot of immigrants by saying that. But, our show, we've been trying to cover events and activities in the Twin Cities, the story of the immigrants, the story of Arab Americans, the story of Muslim Americans. And we've been in the news lately, and I think the election of number 45th is the best career move for our show. And then, we're going to have a lot of material in the next, I think, 2 years. I'm giving him 2 years, this guy. But anyway, we're all now familiar with a blunder that the Trump administration is going through every day, every week is another episode of his incompetence and his kind of gun-ho TV show, kind of reality show that he's showing us and turning his cabinet to a hate group, and the White House is now like a reality TV show. But, this is all said and done. We don't really put a face on the effect, the ramification of some of the decisions he's making lately, one of which is Muslim ban executive order. And we have here someone who's been following Trump very closely and following the things he does, and also active in the community and active in politics. And we're going to talk about the impact or ramification of Muslim ban on the community and on family. And personally, the Muslim ban, it really is going to affect my breakfast. There's a lot of things comes from immigrants, restaurants, things comes from Syria, the best pastries, and things come from Iran. So I'm personally taking it, very seriously. And so we have here Lila Eltawely. She is, a mother, a Muslim, kind of Egyptian American Society. She is the president of this association. She also works volunteer to the DFL, I think the 4th district. And she is with us here. Welcome to Balahdan, Lila. That was a long, long intro, but you deserve it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for coming. This is your first time in this area. Tell us, how did you get to our studio here? Any issues?
No, I'm familiar with the area. I've actually drive back and forth to this area quite often with work. But
okay.
Yeah, I mean.
So
okay.
Tell us a little bit about your work. Let's go from there before we start.
Sure. Well, professionally during the day, I'm a division manager at Washington County, and I manage a group there that deals. Actually, I manage the recorder's office. Outside of Washington County, I am currently the Outreach and Inclusion Officer for the 4th Congressional District. I'm also a director for Senate District 53. And then, as you mentioned, I'm the current Egyptian American Society president. So that's kind of what I do.
That's a lot. That's
outside
a lot.
Here.
And you're married. You have 4 kids.
Yes, I'm married. I have 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls.
Oh wow!
And we live in Woodbury.
Very organized.
Yeah.
But how do you put all this together? What do you do all the time and energy to manage all of this?
So the drive and the energy comes from being a mom to Muslim children. I feel like it's absolutely necessary for us to stand up and use the areas that we have privilege, and I happen to have grown up here, and so I speak non-accented English.
We're targeting people like you.
And that does make a difference, unfortunately. So going back a few years ago, I decided I have things to give, therefore I need to be at the table, and I need to I need to push for space for people like me and people who don't have a voice. So
you are a woman, you are an immigrant, you are a Muslim.
Yes.
You probably you've been insulted 3 times from Trump.
Okay, yep.
This guy is after immigrants and after Muslims and after women. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit, I know there's a lot of things been said about this guy. We don't even know what he's up to. Is he unpredictable? Is he really unhinged, like what Bush said? Mm-hmm. Take us through how you left this political quagmire that we're going through as a Muslim, as a woman, as a mother, as immigrants active in the community?
Sure. Well, first, I actually don't consider myself an immigrant. My parents, immigrated here, so I consider myself very American, and that's actually very important for me to say, because growing up, when people used to ask me what my background was or what I was, I would say I'm Egyptian. People who know me know that I do wear hijab, and I have recently removed the hijab.
Before Trump, let's make this clear. Right?
I removed it before Trump, but during the time that Trump announced his...
Was it related to what's going on?
It was a personal decision based on the climate, based on... I was in the job market, and it became really difficult to find a job, I think, or a career, I guess I could say, that I felt fit my experience and my background. And so I decided to remove it. There's also a safety component to it. I have been screamed at by angry people. And so removing it kind of takes care of both.
Wait a second here. This is interesting because, first of all, we thank you for sharing this with us. A lot of people wouldn't even come close to what you... Did it really make that much difference as somebody who experienced before and after?
Absolutely. And just to be clear, I haven't completely removed it. I remove it in professional settings. I remove it in situations where I'm public. On my own time, however, I do still wear.
You do wear it at home. It should be the other way around.
I don't wear it at home, but I do wear it. I do wear it when I'm, I guess I should say
social gatherings.
Social gatherings. I wear a hat a lot more often than the actual scarf. And yes, it does make a big difference. I am completely a different person without the hijab. I'm treated very differently. So
is this like, I know we are men and we talk about it from outside, and I think a man also should wear a hijab. Because the idea of hijab is modesty. And when you look at the people in the Gulf and Arab, they wear a hijab, like men wear a hijab.
Right.
They call it kufiyya or whatever.
Yes.
Call it a hijab.
Yes.
For me, it's hijab.
Yes.
And so when you are living in the morning, you have to think about all of this. Should I wear a hijab? Should I wear a hijab?
Yes.
And it's becoming a huge issue lately. It's even worse than 9/11, post 9/11.
Yes, and I'll share a little bit about 9/11. After 9/11 was the first time I decided to wear hijab, and I actually removed it after 2 years because it was also difficult, but it was a different kind of difficult. It was the constant questioning, and you'd be at a grocery store and people would be just angry, and so I decided I would remove it at that time because I didn't have that thick skin needed in order to be a Muslim hijabi woman.
Yeah.
And then I decided to wear it again a few years afterwards, after following a major car accident that we had, and it was my connection to God and my commitment to just God and Islam in general. It is a lot more. Yes, it was a lot. It was a lot more meaningful. And when I decided to remove it, I actually spent months and months and months coming home and just putting it on in the car and walking into the house with it on.
Well, I like that.
Yeah.
So we know how the society at large treat people wearing hijab or whatever.
Yes.
How about your own community, your own family, and how about your husband? How about your, what's the reaction there?
My husband is very supportive. He understands the struggle. Obviously, I come home and I tell him about it every day. My family, my parents are also very supportive. They understand. Unfortunately, though, there are people in my family who believe the removal of hijab means I'm less committed to who I am.
I see.
But it's
not fully Muslim.
Right. Some people believe that, right? And some people are very judgmental. However, to be a Muslim, you have to remove all judgment. So for me,
with the hijab,
right? So for me, it really doesn't matter.
But I think you're right. But also there is a other side of that. I think some people in the community, in some Muslim community, they think they are as Islamophobe as some of the non-Muslims, and that they think people wearing hijab she is oppressed. And
Oh,
you see this
absolutely.
in Egypt. You see
Oh.
other the so-called liberal women and liberal thing.
Absolutely.
This is colonial thinking.
Yes, I was going to say that. Yes, it is
I said it
colonial
first.
thinking. Yeah. Yes.
No, but it really, this is wonderful what you're telling us, or sharing
Yeah.
with us, this
Yeah.
Lila, and it really it put a face.
Yeah.
And then kind of anecdotes on all this rhetorics that the people we hear it in media network about banning hijab, not banning hijab, and all of this, and also blaming the Muslim. They're not trying to assimilate,
Yes.
as if there is one America. Like Trump think Muslims hate this country and they don't want to assimilate. And I want to know to what part of America, and they don't like our value. They don't like our America.
Right.
I mean,
Who's America?
I know more than half of this country hate this guy.
Yeah.
So which I don't know what he's talking about.
Right.
So, and he's 70 years old,
Yeah.
and he's probably for 50 years he'll be trying to assimilate his hair, and he hasn't done it yet. So it's not that easy. But what I'm saying, seriously, what you just shared with us, is this contribute to the way you decided to get involved in politics?
Yes and no. I've always been somewhat willing to speak up. I think that's just the way my personality.
Yeah.
It's the way I've always been. However, yes, more recently, yes. When I hear my kids say things like, when you're wearing the hijab and we walk out of the house, I'm on high alert, it pushes me to be involved even more. When I hear my son say, Mom, no one at school knows I'm Muslim, I think of myself. I compare myself to him. I was growing up here in the 80s and the 90s, and I was never afraid to say I was Muslim. Everyone who knew me knew I was Muslim. That pushes me even harder. Knowing the effects, the psychological effects on my kids. They go to school and they hear from peers, or they turn on the TV and they hear that they are terrorists, Muslims, males, females, it doesn't matter, that they're terrorists. My concern for them and for my daughter and my daughters and my son, it really, really pushes me to be involved and pushes me to push through my own fear, because I've been in multiple situations where I am fearful and I don't want to speak up, but I do because I see them watching me. So yes, more recently it has been.
So now you are involved with District 4, right?
Yes.
So what does the involvement mean? And I know Muslim, and especially in the Arab community, we've been invisible for a long time before 9/11.
Yes.
And we thought we are off the radar, and racism and this is a black issue, it's not ours.
Right.
But I think 9/11 pushed us in the front and the stage and the spotlight, and then the election of Trump pushed us further.
Right.
So activism and getting involved is now a must, and a lot of people getting involved in politics post 9/11, and especially post the election of Trump.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about activism in the community. Do you see that people?
I see it a little more. I do. It's still a struggle because we have a community that there are people who can pass as not visibly Muslim, visibly Arab, visibly, mostly
they
visibly
can
Arab.
pass. They can get by.
They can pass, right?
Okay.
They can benefit from white privilege, really. Yeah. And a lot of times it's a lot more comfortable to just kind of stay where you are. And so this climate has pushed for for some people in our community to be involved, but we still have the people in our community who say it's forbidden, so it's haram.
What's haram?
That political involvement is haram, because if you walk into a party, you have to. They believe that you have to embrace all of the ideas presented by that party. So that has caused for some people not to be
Really?
involved. Yes, I've heard it all.
That's new.
And then there's also still parts of our community that believes that Islamophobia is not there. And if it doesn't affect you, if it's not in your, if it's not personal to you, then you're not motivated to do anything. So there's still a struggle with motivating or getting those people to understand that as Muslims, we have to stand up for justice, whether it's happening to us or not.
This is interesting because I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago in Arab, and we were talking about the same thing. Every Friday we go to this our Tahrir Square, we get together and we talk. And we talk about Islamophobia, and people single out. He said, "No, this is America," and so in a way, people think being active as a Muslim that make you less American. Like in some African Americans, sometimes they always accuse them. If you go to school and you become popular and become good and become professional, they say this is not black. No, there is something there. That people they want to just pass and just kind of wither it out.
Right.
It's not really out there.
Right. It's comfortable to stay where you are. It's very uncomfortable to push against the status quo, and so some people want us to adhere to what's happening, and so that to them they think that that's keeping the noise down, and we're going to live in a civil society. The problem is, it's not doing anything.
No,
it's not helping the situation at all.
No.
So
well, it's like drinking, How people look at you and what kind of activity. What's the difference dealing with the community? You are in Egyptian American society. You are the head. Is this the first time? We have women before,
we've
we have Mona. We have
had
other,
multiple.
Exactly, multiple. So we have no problem with that.
Yes.
But second generation is taken over of the Egyptian American society.
Yes.
We are all old fart, we've done our part, and to be honest with you, I had enough roasted corn with the Egyptian Americans, and I deserted that place because I felt my IQ was going down.
Oh no!
So tell us. What change has been going on with the Egyptian American Society in the last, it's a very old organization.
It is. It's a very old organization. I'm very proud of our history. Our history is very important. Being able to say that we've been around for almost 40 years really goes against what Trump is saying, right?
Exactly.
It says that there have been Egyptians, there have been Arab Americans, Muslims in this country for a very long time, and we have been Americans. We've been living and surviving. As far as what's new,
what the issues are now?
The issues are we have experienced the division that we spoke about with the current political climate in Egypt.
The Sisi
versus
tribe.
the Morsi tribes. Yeah. Yes.
Is there anyone in the middle?
I'm in the middle.
Yeah, the third option.
I'm the third option. I'm saying I'm pro-Egypt and let's get it going. And
Egypt
it doesn't
is bigger
matter.
than those two guys.
Exactly. Egypt is bigger than anyone, right? And as Egyptians, we should want the best for Egypt, regardless of who it is that's at the head.
Yeah. And it's not Sisi. Let me share this opinion. And it's not Morsi either.
I don't have an opinion either
exactly.
way.
Yeah,
I don't
go
have
ahead.
an opinion either way.
Yeah.
As far as the Egyptian American Society goes, I think we're at a stage. We're actually. I'm happy we're at this stage because we get to recreate. We're the lucky team that gets to find out what the community actually needs, and that's what we're working on right now. We're trying to find out what it is that we can actually do without being a political religious organization. Can we allow the space for individuals to feel that their voices can be heard? Can we have events that are relevant? Can we be a resource to everyone, really, to Minnesota, to anyone who wants to connect with us?
Your kids, and because your dad and that generation before create that space for you to come and get involved. Yes. Now you're creating space for your kids in the next.
Absolutely.
People should be comfortable by being a Muslim, by being Egyptian, by being Christian, and a lot of Christians are in the community too. And so I think what I liked about the Egyptian American Society in the old days, they're always creating a safe space.
Yes.
To everybody disagree and we'll talk and at the end hugging and tell a few jokes and we'll go home.
Right.
But it's not the case anymore.
Right. I think a lot of, again, the political climate in Egypt has really affected the way we interact with one another.
It was also a political, it was Sadat and assassination.
Right.
And, but we used to just say, being Egyptian was much bigger than
Exactly. And my goal is to bring that back.
Yeah.
My goal is to be inclusive. I do want the Egyptian Christian community to be involved as well.
And that's another component that's been gone for a few years.
Exactly. And so
they were very active in the community.
Right. And they are valid Egyptians in the community as well, and they need to be part of the Egyptian American society. So we're working on fact finding at this point.
Too many fronts, Lila. Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate you coming in, sharing with us. Always do come anytime you want. Lila Eltawely. She is second generation here, Egyptian American society, leading the Egyptian American society to the right path, making sure Trump is not going to scare heck out of our community, Muslim community, or anybody at large. This guy is scaring a lot of people. See you next week. Assalamu alaikum, and God bless you all.
Downtown here, downtown Minneapolis, in the front of the Federal building where hundreds of thousands of people are gathering to protest the ban of Muslims from executive order from Donald Trump, and people with their sign, bringing their family, their dogs, and chanting, kind of galvanize energy to protest a country of immigrants that stopping and banning immigrants from coming to this country. And we have here somebody with, I think this sign was a hit all over the nation. We are the people. Tell us a little bit your name and why you are here.
My name is Mary. I'm coming from Wisconsin. I'm here because, for a number of reasons. I don't believe a ban on a person of certain religion is justifiable by any means. And I have Japanese background, and it wasn't long ago that people in my family would have been put in internment camps in the United States. I don't want to go back to that.
The workers are very galvanized. We have students at the university who are of all faiths, so this is a concern to us. And thank you for calling an apple and admitting that he's racist, misogynistic, and Islamophobic.
Because some of my friends are refugees.
Oh, really? So you know some refugees? How are they?
They're nice.
Nice people? They are friends? Neighbors?
Friends.
My name's Ahmed also, and I'm here with my kids, Zaid, Layla, and my wife, Laura. And we're here to make our presence felt and make sure that we show a resistance to the current changes happening, and to teach our children the rights that we have here in America to protest and to be involved.
I'm Iraqi. I come from Iraq. My parents are from there. I was born in Saudi Arabia. We were refugees in Saudi Arabia, and we were placed in San Diego, Minnesota, and then San Diego, California, and then we came to Minnesota. My parents went through 8 years in refugee camps. It was horrible. That's where I was born. I don't remember much of it, but the stories that they tell us about all the things they had to go through in those camps are just horrific. I can't even imagine someone going through it. And as we know, millions and millions of people are going through it right now in Syria, in Yemen, and all those countries. And our president is not giving them refuge. I wish that we weren't part of their displacement, but we are.
You know, you are putting a nice face on the tragedy of the refugees, and you are actually experiencing your family or have you. And what is your family now, and how this is banning affecting your family and your personal?
Personally, because my family went through it, like I said, I can't even imagine how these people are feeling to be left out, to say, no, you can't come here for the mere fact that you're refugees and you might cause crime in our country. You might. Yeah. So, I mean, I know a ton of Iraqis that are here. They're well off. They got jobs. They're going to school full time. So they're doing a lot for the country.
So my name is Devin, and I'm here in solidarity with the people whom I know that are Muslim, and just to show Trump that we're not going to let him do this, and we're not going to stay silent while he tries to make all these unconstitutional acts happen and bring white supremacy back into America in a more strong way than ever.
Muslims are criminal, are terrorists, ban them all.
Yeah.
Ban all Muslims for next 4 years.
Yeah.
But at the meantime, if you do that, you must bring our military back from predominantly Muslim country, cut business tie and diplomatic tie with all Muslim country. And if you do that, you got my vote. Otherwise, you must quit.